This video is sponsored by Design Evo. Design Evo is a platform that allows you to create a free custom logos from a plethora of templates for free. Like more than 4,000 templates are available on the platform. You can create your own logo for any company you like, to create new projects or your own small team as a startup. You have a lot of design projects. You can design your own logo from scratch with a really nice colorful logos and icons, with also a nice font size and a font families. All you have to do, sign up. It's very easy and very straightforward. Sign up, email and password, and you are actually ready to go. Designing your logo is as simple as dragging and dropping icons by also searching them. As you can see here, you can create an ice cream logo as simple as that. Only from like a lot of icons in here, we drag and drop, we click, we choose which icon we want, we give it like a text, and from the text we can choose which color from like very cool color palettes. You can choose the size, and you can choose which fonts you really like from a lot of fonts. You can choose it from a custom font. Also, you can choose the plethora of fonts, how you can size your text with a custom sizes and a custom font sizes or font families. You can also go ahead and just put in custom shapes for your logo, like a circles, to make the logo looks a little bit better, and you can design it with a little bit of more text samples, and here as you can see with more text template. So also you can go ahead and with a classic text and choose from the font families. It has a lot of things, a lot of layers. You can choose backgrounds and layouts from here, and yeah, it gives you a lot of things. You can preview that, you can save it to the cloud if you have like a Dropbox or something, or you can download it here for free if you really need to, like only low resolution files, or you can choose the basic or the plus plans for downloading a max resolution files with a plethora of all those supported things. Type in Design Evo, or the link will be description below, and you can find a plethora of things, or you can just go ahead and start making your logo from scratch. Make sure to check it out, the link in the description below. Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope all you are doing. Welcome to a new video tutorial from iPinuous. Today we're gonna create a bot, or a Twitter bot. It's gonna be an amazing thing, and yeah, we're gonna just enjoy things. So as I've said, we're gonna create a Twitter bot. So that gonna do, the bot actually gonna search for the recent for a specific hashtag on a recent tweet. It grabs that tweet and retweet it on the specific user account. So if you have ever heard about Twitter retweet bot that can automatically go ahead, look for tweets and retweet them into the actual account or the user's account, in order for getting a little bit of feedback and making the Twitter account looks have a lot of feedback actually. So this is going to work on today. Just going to use the Twitter API to create this bot application, or this bot Twitter application. So you're going to need a couple of things for this. So first, you need to go ahead and create a Twitter application. So creating a Twitter application going to allow you to access the Twitter API, and it's just going to give you like an access token keys. You can use it in order to access the actual Twitter API to grab tweets and retweet them on your account. So for that, you need to go to the apps.twitter.com. You go ahead and create a new application over there, and you're going to need you need to provide a couple of information for that in order to create the application. So you need to provide the name of the application. I don't know, we're gonna name it Twitter, or like tutorial or something, just description, tutorial, I don't know, tutorial Twitter bots. The website for now, let's just put my website over here. And actually the callback URLs, we don't need any of that. And yes, I have written I agree to all the Twitter developer arguments, and just go ahead and create the Twitter application. So yeah, this is all we're gonna need for creating all the information that we need to provide. And you're gonna need actually the keys. Actually you need to go ahead and, as you can see, the application settings, scroll the way down, you can find like an application or access level keys. You need to grab those keys alongside the keys and the access tokens. So make sure to go ahead and access this tab over here, grab the access token keys for your application. I'm not gonna show you mine over here, but you need to go ahead and grab those, and actually you can you can go ahead and you need to use them actually for the authentication with the Twitter application whenever we are creating that. So make sure to go ahead and grab the access level keys, which are down here. Just scroll the way down, you can find them. Two keys actually, the secret key and the actual key, and you need to grab the access token keys, the secret key and the access token key. Make sure to copy them, and I will talk to you about this in a second. And actually you can go ahead and take a look on the Twitter API here from the developer.twitter.com, the platform, which can allow you to see the actual API reference for doing the calls and how you can do it. So we can use that as well in here in this particular tutorial to explain how actually everything is working behind the scenes on a bot. So let's just go ahead and start creating this bot. We're going to use Visual Studio Code in here, and I've already set up a project. As you can see here, it's very basic Node.js projects. You're obviously going to need Node.js for that, like in npm, and I've installed a couple of like Node.js or I don't know, a module that's going to help us authenticate with the Twitter server or the Twitter API. So make sure to go ahead and run npm install and install the tweets. So it's called a module tweet, and you need to save it as a real dependency. After installing that, we're gonna use this actually for our Twitter application. I'm gonna have you actually in the project. Make sure to create two separate files, config.js and twbot.js or tweet bot.js. This is going to be the main clients or the main bots application code, and this one is just going to be the configuration. We can put in here our access tokens. So let's just go ahead and create that. I'm going to just create like a config object in here. Just going to hold a couple of parameters in here. So the parameter is going to be like consumer key. So make sure to go ahead and let me just grab all of those in here. So yeah, very basic thing. So make sure to go ahead and grab this, replace the secret thing in here with your specific key. So make sure to, as I've said, go ahead and grab the consumer key, consumer secret, access token, and access token secret. Put them all of those in these fields in order to make sure that this is going to be authenticated with your current application. And the final thing we need to do in here is to export the configuration. So we need to say modular.export equals the configuration, so we can access it from the Twitter bot and authenticate everything. So this is all you need to do for the configuration. Make sure, as I've said, to like replace everything, replace it with your identical information there, and everything should be much fine in here. So here we need to first acquire the Twit application. I don't know, we'll just call it Twit in here, and you're just gonna like equal requiring. I'm just gonna require the Twit modular, and here we need to initiate the Twit and authenticate with the server. So instance of Twitter API or something, and we can call this like an authentication. So we need to authenticate, and we can say let's t. So just gonna be like the instance variable and a new of Twit. So we need to initiate, and this one takes up as a parameter the configuration, which is actually the configuration of the consumer key, consumer secret, access token, and access token key. So we can go ahead and just require that from the main thing. So just /config, and as you know, require gonna like return this object thing that we have just exported from Node.js. So just gonna return this whole object, and we can just pass it through into the Twit objects in here, and we can create the instance very easily. So this is all we're gonna do in here, just creating that, and this is gonna help us to authenticate with the Twitter API actually, and grab or access the right credentials of our right API. So in order to be able to do calls. So this Twitter module here is going to help us or allow us to authenticate, as I've seen here, and also to do post and get requests to these Twitter API. So we can do a get request and a post request. So for our bot, what we need is just go ahead and actually submit and find on a specific hashtag, or like, I don't know, a hashtag coding or something, or hashtag dev or hashtag programmer, and we can just go ahead and search Twitter for that. We grab the recent post or the recent tweet on that hashtag, like the first tweet, the recent one. We grab it, and we're just gonna retweet it on our account. So let's create the listener of the tweet hashtag. So tweet hashtag to listen for. I'm gonna listen for. It's just gonna be like an object. So search hashtag. And as I've said, it's going to be object and going to be like a very specific object with a very specific parameters from the Twitter API. So if you can go back into the developer platforms and you can take a look in here, this is the parameters you're going to need to provide into the objects. The queue, which is the query, and so this is the only required parameter or the only required argument to pass in into the object. So the queue means what you need to search for, the actual hashtag, and the geocode if you really need it, it's optional, we're not gonna need it. The language, the local, the result type, I'm gonna need this result type like depending on next, recent, on the popular tweets. Obviously I'm gonna just take a look, or gonna use the recent because we're gonna access, or we need to access the recent tweets over there. And actually the count, how many tweets we need to grab from the recent tweet. For our case, we can just grab 1 or 2, it doesn't really matter, but since we only need to access 1, just gonna use 1. So make sure to go ahead and take a look on that if you really need to expand your bot, but this is all we need to do for our very basic bot thing. So let's just go back. We need to provide the query. The query is going to be the actual hashtag. I'm going to just go ahead and use the coding hashtag. I don't know, because we are coders, we are programmers. We're just going to put in this coding hashtag. Choose whatever hashtag you're suitable for. Your bot is actually meant to use. But we're just going to use the coding for testing purposes. We're going to use the count. Just going to be the count pretty much as 1. It's going to be a number. And the results type, so result type is going to be recent. So this is string. So this is the object that we need. Now we need to do a get request in order to get the latest tweet. Then after getting this tweet, we need to like retweet it into our application. So for that, we need to use our instance. And as you can see, there's plenty of methods into this object. So we need to use the get method, and the get method in here, there's 3 different definitions for that method. So we need to take in the second one, which you give it the path that you need to submit to, the actual Twitter API path, the URL pretty much, and the parameters in here, which are going to be like our search hashtag object that we have created. And the last thing is going to be like a callback holding an error and a response with the fetch data from the Twitter database, so which holds actually our recent tweets that we asked for. So here, if you can take a look, this is going to be our api.twitter.com/search/tweets. So this is what we need actually to go ahead and like submit for. So /tweet, and here you need to provide the search hashtag. The last thing is going to be a callback. So the first one, it takes an error. The second one, it takes the data that it's going to grab from the Twitter's API, which holds pretty much the current tweets that we need. So this one is going to be like an array. So we need to access only one with the statuses and stuff. So we need to double check first if there's any error. So if there's any error, what we need is just going to console.log cannot grab latest tweets with or on hashtag. Okay. Let me just put a hashtag in here. I'm just gonna put the search hashtag. So search hashtag.q, just gonna like for user friendly thing. And since there's an error, we're just gonna need to return. That means we're gonna exit the function. So, or we're just gonna return. And pretty much what I've forgotten here is, since we're gonna need to use a function in here, because what we want is our bot to run simultaneously on a very like timestamp duration time. So we need to run our bot like each hour or each day or each minute or something like this. So therefore we need to the set interval method that gonna need to provide it with a specific function. So therefore I'm gonna like create a function. Let me just call it a retweet function, and let me just wrap all of that under this function. So it should do the job perfectly right now. So as you can see, we can return and get exit. Now we need to double check if the data is actually valid. We have a valid data. We don't have like an undefined or null in here. And also if the data.status is, so this is an object and holds the statuses. The statuses are pretty much the tweets that we have grabbed from the Twitter's database. So this holds an array, and since we have only one count, so we can access the first one. So this is pretty obvious. And what I want in here, since this holds an array, so since we are double checking pretty much, we need to check the length, and we say if the length is greater than 0, then pretty much everything is actually gonna be working pretty much fine. Else, I'm just gonna need to console.log no tweets on the hashtag. So there's no tweets on the provided hashtag, and we can just go ahead and give him the provided hashtag over there. So very simple, actually, very straightforward. And here, like, all the things need to go in here. So here, like, everything's pretty much working fine, and the data that we have grabbed from the database or from the Twitter's database is actually valid, and we can use it pretty much fine. So therefore, what we need in here is to grab the latest tweet. So let me just go ahead and put this equals to tweet, and we can use data.statuses. So the statuses is an array holds the actual tweets, so we can access the first one since we only need to grab one, and this is an array, so we can access the first index of that. And here we have grabbed the tweets. Now what we need is to retweet that into our account. So retweets, and to retweet pretty much this, what we need is a post request to a very specific URL. So we can go ahead and do the tweets. We can go and do let's see what we have. That I think it's called retweets over here. Post retrieve and engage with tweets. I barely statuses, as you can see, post to the statuses /retweets and the /, and we give it the tweet ID. So the tweet ID is under the object that we have grabbed from the database just right now. So let's just go ahead and copy that in here, and we're gonna use our instance. We can do a post request to the server, and we can provide it with a tweet. And here we're not gonna provide the second argument. We're just gonna use the plus sign, to add the ID, since the ID is just gonna be like added into the URL. So we can just add it over there, and we can access this from tweet.id str. So we need to grab the string version of the ID. There's the number version of ID, but using the string version is always safer than using the number. So make sure to just use that. You can use the number, but it's still very safe to concatenate two strings rather than to concatenate a number and a string, although it's just probably valid on JavaScript, but still not safe at all. And as you remember, it takes a callback in here. Let me just call this an E since we have an error, and it's just gonna take a response responding if yes or no. So we can check if E. What we need is console.log cannot read your tweet, something like that. It's pretty obvious, and we can just go ahead and return. So else, or here we check if response. So what we need to do is, if there's a response, we're just gonna console log you have successfully retweeted your tweets into your account. Please check your account. So success, check your account for the retweet. Yeah, very basic. So here, what I was saying in here, that we have successfully gone through that, and pretty much everything is working pretty much fine. So if the response is valid, we're just gonna like console log to him, you have successfully retweeted, and we have actually retweeted everything, or we have retweeted the tweet that we have, the recent tweet we have grabbed to our account. So this is the very basic thing that we have done. So this is all we have done, this very basic thing, only grabbing it, or grabbing the tweet from the database, then retweeting it into our account. How actually retweeting into our account, since we are authenticating it with our application that we have created right now. Since the configuration in here, as I've told you, you need to provide it with your current access keys. Now the last thing is we need to call our function, and we can use the set interval in here. So the set interval, what it does, it takes a function, and since the function is like retweet, so we can retweet something, or we can with this set interval method, what it does, you can run this function a couple of times, or each time, or each an amount of time. So as you can see, this millisecond numbers, if I put 1,000 here, it means run this function each second. So it's just gonna run this function each second. What we want is to run this function each hour or something, and since an hour has a 3600 seconds, and since a second has 1,000 milliseconds, so we need just to 3600 times 1,000, that gonna give us an hour in a millisecond. So just a very nice mathematical thing. And also we need to retweet it as soon as the application starts. So this one, if we start the application right now, this won't run unless an hour is going to be elapsed from this time, or from the start time of the application. So we need to run this, then wait another hour. So just first time run, and after 1 hour. So yeah, as you can see in here, very basic thing. So this is all you need to do actually for grabbing the tweet. Let me just go ahead and console log the tweet that we grabbed from the actual database in order to make or double check that everything is pretty much working fine. So we can just go ahead and console log in here, and we can console log data or the actual tweets that we have grabbed over there to make sure that everything is pretty much working with the application. Now let me just go ahead and open up the terminal, and since this is a Node.js application, we can just go ahead and run this. And actually, to make this a little bit more like an advanced thing, we can go ahead to the script and add a new script. As you can see here, I've already done this, so you can just type in run Twitter bot into the script and put node like dots / tweetbot.js to run this pretty much this JavaScript file using the Node compiler or the Node interpreter pretty much. And we can use, now what we need to do is just use npm run and Twitter bot. Now if you run npm run Twitter _ bot, so press enter, wait for the application to start, and wait a second, and here we go. As you can see, success. Check your account for the retweet, and we have grabbed and we have actually retweeted. If you can just go ahead into the console log in here, and we check the actual data that we have retweeted. Is the tweet has a text of a colossal collection of one-page tutorial guides for doing data science with R and yada yada yada, plenty of other things, all of that different things. But this is what it tweets. Now if you can just go ahead and check our account, so going into our account in here under Twitter and going to the profile settings, profile, this is my actual Twitter profile actually, and if you can take a look in here, as you can see the same text appears in here, and as I've said, you retweeted this, and I didn't actually retweet that, but the bot did retweet that into our timeline in here with our profile. So as you can see in here, this is what we have retweeted in here. If you can take a look in here with the text, colossal collection of one-page tutorial, colossal collection of one-page tutorial, it's the same thing, and it has just retweeted that for us successfully with no problem. So this was a very basic thing for you to do, and it's just gonna run every single hour. You can change that, you can manipulate it however you want, and from now on you can just go ahead and grab this application or grab this bot and make it your own, and just create a very advanced thing, very advanced algorithms that you're gonna like listen for all the tweets and retweet them on your application or on your specific profile pretty much. And yeah, do a lot of things with this bot. And there's actually only the retweet thing. You can create your custom tweets, you can listen for tweets, you can see the trending, you can count them, you can get the statistics, you can do plenty of things from the Twitter API, and you can just play with it a little bit more, and also take a closer look on the developer platform of the Twitter API. It's just gonna like make you way much better with this kind of thing. So thank you guys for watching. That was a very basic thing with the Twitter API that we have done, a very basic thing. So make sure to go ahead and check that out. It's gonna be like an out on GitHub, so if you really want to take a closer look at this. So yeah, that was actually a very basic thing, guys. We're gonna create more bots with Facebook and Slack and LinkedIn and all of the different social media things. So stay tuned for that, and hopefully you have enjoyed the video, and I will catch you all in the next video tutorial.